Hi there, and welcome to Ian's Engage channel. I'm Ian. In a previous video, I showed how I'd installed the DCC bus wire beneath Shelfington and connected it to my DigiKeys DR5000 control unit. In this video, I'm going to show how I created a simple programming track that could be easily connected to the DR5000 when I needed to add new locos to my fleet. Up until this point, I'd been programming my loco addresses and adjusting CV values on the main track. However, as the wiring has become more comprehensive, it has become more difficult to isolate locos in sidings, so I decided it would be much safer to have a separate programming track. This would help me avoid the inevitable day when I programmed all of my locos with the same addresses and CV values, because they were all on the same electrical circuit. So here are all the bits and pieces I'm going to make the programming track from, all laid out on my cutting mat. There's a length of 2x2 that will act as a plinth for the track, some cork for track underlay, some quick release clamps, some glue, and a scrap piece of wood cut to the same length as the 2x2. Actually, thinking about it, it's not all of the stuff because the cork and the glue aren't in the picture. Oh well, never mind. Oh, and there's also some dropper wires with fish plates already soldered to them, some 22 AWG wire, and lever nut and spring connectors. I haven't done a very good job with the inventory so far, have I? Anyway, the first job was to cut the cork to the approximate size and glue it to the top of the 2x2. This was held in place using the scrap piece of wood and the clamps until the glue had dried. Next, I used my utility knife to trim the cork to the exact size of the 2x2 to neaten things up. Now that the plinth was prepared, I turned my attention to the track. Yes, of course, add a track to the inventory too. First, I added the fish plates with the dropper wires to a piece of spare track and laid it on top of the cork. I then added another short piece of track to make the total length similar to the length of the plinth. Next, I used track pins. Track pins, another item to add to the inventory. Anyway, I used the track pins to fix the track to the top of the plinth. The next step was to add the dropper wires into one end of the lever nut connector, and then fix the lever nut connector to the side of the plinth. To do this, I first used a pin vise to pre-drill some small holes through the loops on the connector. Before fitting through the loops, I made a few turns of the screws in the pre-drilled holes just to get them started. I then attached the connector to the plinth with the small screws going through the loops on either side of the connector. Next, I connected some short lengths of 22 AWG wire to the opposite side of the lever nut connector. These wires would be used to connect to the programming track output on the DR5000 control unit. And while the wires aren't connected to the DR5000, I'm using a spring connector to keep the ends of the wires tidy and to stop them from fraying. As you can see, I've now connected the programming track to the program track output of my DR5000. This short clip shows the customary programming track wobble as I use the configuration application to query the loco address. So, that's a little job I've been meaning to do for a while now, and I'm very pleased I've now got separate track to program my locos. Okay, so that's about it for this update. If you've got any hints, tips, useful tools or techniques to pass on to a beginner in Engage modelling, or if you simply want to say hello, then please do so in the comment section. Anything and everything you've got to say will be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching. Hopefully I'll have another update on my progress soon. Bye!